Well, by the skin of their teeth, the Bengals moved to 2-0 on the season, winning their first home opener since 2021, and all without their main guy. Joe Burrow was ruled out with a left toe injury after being sacked in the second quarter, and that's when quarterback Jake Browning came in and became the story of the day. Just 3 weeks ago, we were standing here previewing this exact same game, and in no way was this a walk-away, easy win for your team. Where have you grown the most since that win? This is the first time that Division I opponents can play each other in the preseason without needing a waiver. Now, Mark Pope, you know he's very analytical. He's looking forward to looking back at the numbers and the data from tonight's game, but he said that his players are competitive, whether it's at practice or in a game of chess. This is a group that wants to win whether or not the game counts on the stat sheet. Well, Kobe Brea has made a huge shift, said that he starts to take defense personally, and the entire team has really adopted that mentality, and it's really pushed them forward, especially in the NCAA tournament. 14 steals against Illinois. They're looking to carry that momentum against Tennessee. Here we've seen heavy spurts of rain, and like you said, that really could affect the track. Now, the favorite in today's race is Journalism with 3-1 odds, but he is a horse that has never run in sloppy conditions like this before. And speaking of continuing to write your story, you originally opted out of playing the bowl game, declared for the NFL draft, and then all of a sudden on social media, we see y'all December 29th, you're going to be down in Jacksonville. Can you walk me through that decision? And what most people don't know is the key to a national championship is hitting a target that is the size of the tip of a ballpoint pen. Now, the target's about 30 feet away from me here at the air rifle distance, one that I plan to hit right in the center. And did not. They are going to be without Jalen Lowe again as he continues to rehab from that shoulder injury. And the big question mark was Denzel Aberdeen. We saw him out here warming up in uniform with his headphones on. Looks like he's going to be good to go tonight. On offense, the Cats were missing that tempo that they've seen recent success with, rushing just 31 yards tonight. They were actually in single-digit rushing yards for the majority of this game. This is a par 70 course this year. It's known for having narrow greens and tight bunkering, which might be why Chan Kim is your current leader at 9 under par, 4 strokes ahead of the rest of the field. Good Cheer is the favorite in this race. There's also 6 horses with the long shot 30-1 odds, but then there's those horses that are kind of right in the middle, the live long shots, and that's what I want to take a look at. And now the Bengals are 0-3 for the first time ever in the Joe Burrow era, which is interesting because you could say that the offense actually played pretty well. They had a very balanced pass rush game. Well, Kentucky had 3 wins in a row, and it looked like they were maybe going to turn their season around. Then they went on to suffer 2 blowout losses, cutting their season short of a bowl game for the second year in a row. Well, in just 24 hours, Kentucky football fired Mark Stoops and made a new hire. Will Stein will be the program's 38th head coach. The Oregon offensive coordinator is officially headed back to the Bluegrass. Stein is a Louisville, Kentucky native, was a star quarterback for Trinity High School. Finally, the final jewel of the Triple Crown was yesterday, and Kentucky Derby winner Sovereignty put on a show again. It was a rematch of the Kentucky Derby. Sovereignty running down Journalism for the second time. Kentucky football is officially parting ways with head coach Mark Stoops. It's being reported that the process will formally play out on Monday. Kentucky will owe Mark Stoops more than $37 million. However, it's also being reported that Stoops is willing to negotiate an agreement allowing the university to spread out payments over a number of years instead of 60 days. Especially tonight when they need some physicality down low. You have Amari Williams, but to have Otega Owe going downhill like he did in that Oklahoma game could be huge tonight.
Yeah.
Well, after a month on the road, Lexington Sporting Club returned home to take on in-state rival Louisville City FC, and the turnout did not disappoint. A new record attendance, 8,252 fans tonight. This one tied 10-10 with 35 seconds left in the half. Joe Burrow finds Andre Yosivas. He dives across the goal line to give the Bengals the 17-10 lead going into the half. Second half, and the Bengals in the red zone. 3rd and goal. Burrow rolls right and goes across the body to Drew Sample in the end zone. That was Sample's first touchdown of the year. John Calipari has been the head coach at Kentucky for 15 years. He started in 2009 after he was hired away from Memphis. Calipari replaced Billy Gillespie, and when Cal came in, he turned the program around right away, going 35-3 in his first season. He then led the Wildcats to a national championship in 2012.
This is not about me. This is about these 13 players. This is about the Big Blue Nation. But I don't know of any team that has sacrificed for each other like this team, and they deserve this moment. They really do.
After that, Calipari helped his team earn national runner-up honors in 2014 and Final Four appearances in 2011 and 2015. After his 2014-2015 season, Calipari was elected to the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame.
Well, I have sat in those seats in awe as my heroes were inducted into this hall. This is surreal for me. This seems bigger than me.
Cal has also sent a lot of talent to the NBA at Kentucky. 47 players to be specific, 35 first-round draft picks, 23 lottery picks, and 3 number-1 overall draft picks: John Wall, Karl Anthony Towns, and Anthony Davis.
With the first pick in the 2012 NBA draft, the New Orleans Hornets select Anthony Davis.
Davis, who blossomed so late in his career and now is the #1 pick. You see him embracing his college coach, John Calipari.
However, the fans want more than just NBA prospects. They want championships, and that's where Calipari has faltered these last couple years. Kentucky hasn't been to the Sweet 16 since 2019 and was upset by double-digit seeds in the first round of the tournament twice in the last 3 years, including this year to 14-seed Oakland with a team he promised everyone was, quote, built for March. In 2019, Calipari agreed to a lifetime contract with Kentucky. Under the terms, he could have been owed $33 million if Kentucky had dismissed him. But there was no buyout if Calipari left for another job, which is now the case as Calipari is set to be Arkansas's new head coach. Calipari finishes his time at UK with an overall record of 410 wins and 123 losses, or a 76.9% winning record, and is the second winningest coach in UK basketball history behind Adolph Rupp. People have been coming to Pete Rose's statue all day today to mourn and to pay their respects. And it's so clear by just the statistics that he was one of the greatest baseball players to ever grace a diamond. But something that we could tell with all of the emotion here today is that the city of Cincinnati will mourn the loss of his character and his blue-collar grit, something that the Queen City could always resonate with.
He meant the world to us. We both are kind of the same gritty, determined people in life, and a lot of those characteristics we learned from Pete.
Well, I mean, he was the embodiment of not a lot of talent, but a lot of determination, practice, will to win, and that's what you want in any kid that's, you know, coming up playing baseball. And I embodied his spirit in everything I did. I played baseball. I'm 65 years old. I played all the way up till last year. So I'm doing head first slides at the age of 60 because of him. You know, people thought I was crazy, but that's just, you know, there's only one way to play, and he knew how to play, so.
People leaving roses, hats, jerseys, drinks, notes, and more on Rose's statue. And many talking amongst each other, reflecting on how grateful they were to have been in the stands where Rose played.
First time I knew who Pete Rose was, I was 5 years old, was at Crosley Field. My dad took me to a doubleheader. I was like 5 rows behind the dugout, and I stood behind the dugout just watching him and Tommy Helms play catch. And then after they played catch, he walked over to the dugout and said, "Hey, kid," and he rolled the ball up to me when I was 5 years old. And from that point on, I was hooked. So that was pretty cool.
I was here when he broke the record, so we just heard it again on the radio coming down here, and every time you hear that, you just remember sitting there and watching it, and him out on first base, and Marge, and bringing the red Corvette out, and all of it. You just, it's just like it was yesterday.
These are memories that will be forever cherished, and people in the Queen City hope that the next generation of Reds players will embody Pete Rose on and off the diamond.
He was an icon. He was Cincinnati. And then for the younger players that's going to be playing in 2025, that means step your game up for Pete Rose.
Hallie DeVore, ABC 36 Sports.